Oh, hey guys. Wait, where's my... Oh. Let me comb my hair. There we go. Anyhow, remember, everybody's so full of shit. Remember that. Everybody. Everybody. Okay? Including me and you. Everybody's so full of shit, dude. I mean... Understatement of the century. Alright. This video is for entertainment and education purposes only. Any and everything I say could be wrong. It's always important to do your own research and come to your own conclusions. Anyhow, I would like to do a video on this because I like the subject of it. And it's a question that was posed to me. I was just asked earlier, why don't I post my videos on BitChute? You know, a content creator asked me this. A content creator that does videos every day, original videos of their own, asked me, why don't you, because I left a link to one of my videos today with a buddy of mine who is commenting on that page. And the guy running the page says, hey man, why don't you fucking upload that onto BitChute? And he's like, I can't download it from YouTube. And so then I just was like, all right, I guess whatever. I guess, you know, I'll upload this video to BitChute. I mean, I guess, whatever. But the question, it's the question that drives you, Neo. It's the question. You know the question just as I did, okay? It's the question is like, why don't you upload your shit to BitChute? And I like the subject of this question. And I think it's a worthy thing to explore this question. See, but one of the problems is this is no offense to anybody, but there is a big difference between a person that creates content and then your passive observer. And this is no offense to anyone. But if you're a content creator that runs a channel and does original content, it's a different language that your average passive observer of content does not understand the language. So when he asked me, why don't you upload your video to BitChute, that is the language of content creators. That your passive observer and your passive consumer of content, it's a completely different language, is the best way to describe it. Like, consumers of content don't have an understanding of the whole idea of running a channel that someone running a channel does. And so the question means something very different from if a content creator asks me that question, that means something completely different than if a consumer, strictly consumer, were to ask me that same question. They're two different questions. And so, and I know this sounds crazy, but I bet you most content creators that do original content would agree with me that there is a pretty big disconnect between content creators and consumers of content. There's a big difference. That's like if you make fucking cookies and you run a small business selling homemade cookies that you make yourself, and then people coming in and buying them, you know, like they may not understand the value of the cookies you're making, and they're like, well, I don't know why you charge $1 for this cookie. You should just give it to me for free, or you should only charge me like 5 cents for it instead of $1. I don't understand why you're charging me $1 for this. Well, that's because the guy that doesn't, or the person that doesn't understand the price of the cookie isn't fucking making cookies for a living, you know? Like, yeah, you don't understand why I don't just give you free cookies that I'm baking. You don't understand. Because you just want cookies. You don't care. You know what I'm saying? And so the question that I was asked, I understand the question differently than someone who is not a content creator that only consumes content and does not create it. You know? It's like I'm posting these videos of songs I've written, and your average consumer of those videos, they have no idea what went into that song. Like, they can't understand that I wrote all the guitar parts, the guitar and bass, wrote all the parts. I wrote the drum parts to those songs. And I wrote the lyrics to those songs. And I recorded each of those instruments, the guitar, the bass, the drums, and the vocals. I recorded each of those instruments separately. And I had to play the guitar parts from beginning to end without stopping. I had to play the guitar and the bass parts from the beginning of the song to the end of the song without stopping, no editing at all. Because I don't have editing software. I didn't have editing software when I wrote those songs. Okay? And same with the drums. I had to play the drum parts all the way through the song from beginning to end without stopping and cutting and pasting and editing. Okay? And I had to use like low fidelity recording equipment. I used this little piece of shit $50 handheld recorder to record the guitar, the bass, and the drums, and the vocals. Well, not the drums was even more lo-fi. I had to literally use a flip share camera to record the drums. Like, see, people have no idea the amount of work that went into writing and producing those songs. They just push play on the song, and then they listen to the song, and then they think whatever they think about the song. Like, they don't know that I played every single instrument. I wrote the parts to every single instrument, played every single instrument, and I didn't have the modern software to record them. You know, they don't even understand the process of recording a song. They don't even understand, you know, they just click play and listen to it. It's, you know, going back to the person that's just like, I don't understand, why don't you just give me those cookies for free? I only want 2, you know. And the person running the small cookie business is like, dude, I know you don't understand why I don't just give you free cookies because you only want 2, but I'm not giving you any cookies, motherfucker. So anyways, why do I not post my videos on BitChute? And there are a very, very small handful of people, 2 or 3 at most, that know exactly why I do not post my videos on YouTube, on BitChute. And I'm not going to go into the details of that story because I pick and choose my battles, and it's just not a battle. I can speak in a general way, though, why I do not put my videos on BitChute. And I will tell you in a general way, and whether you believe it or not, and this isn't directed at the person that asked me this question. I'm just covering the topic in a general sense, okay? But I'm telling you, if you are a content creator and you create original videos and post them on BitChute, and you are over the fucking target, where you are hitting on something that is an uncomfortable truth that BitChute does not want talked about on their platform, BitChute itself will fucking come after you and like the CIA, you know, the 88th Brigade, the 77th Brigade, all this shit, they will come at you with their fake bot farm BitChute bots, and they'll send them after you like a big fucking horde of piranhas, and then they'll just keep gnawing and gnawing and gnawing and biting and clawing and chewing and it's endless, to the point where it's not even worth it to do a channel. And I don't know about you guys, okay? Look, okay. Let me give you another example. Okay, you have corporations, right? And then you have nonprofits. Most people don't even think about this, that you have corporations. Look, dude, I have talked about this so many times. 90% or more of all jobs in the United States of America are either corporate jobs, nonprofit jobs, or government jobs. Now, corporate, nonprofit, and government are all one and the same. And that's like 90% of all jobs in the United States of America are either corporate jobs, nonprofit jobs, or government jobs. And again, they are all one and the same. One hand washes the other. And this is like, so you don't know how lucky you are to be back in the USSR, boys. Like, this 1958 Soviet Union. You can break all jobs in the United States of America down to three basic things. Corporatism, which destroys capitalism and destroys freedom and is unconstitutional. Government jobs, which are in the pockets of the government is in the pockets of corporations. So those two are one and the same. Corporatism and government are one and the same. Then you've got the ever elusive nonprofit. Well, what are the characteristics of a nonprofit? Nonprofits, 9 times or more out of 10, hide behind a banner of do-goodism. Well, we're here to help save the children. We're here to help save the children from sex trafficking. That's how nonprofits work. But guess what? They're not there to help children and save them from sex trafficking. They're only there to fucking swindle you out of money. And you send them the money. Oh my God, there's this epidemic of sex trafficking, child sex trafficking. And this organization is saying they're going to do stuff about it. And they're even nonprofit. Shit, everybody send your money to the nonprofit. This is how nonprofits work. And they work in tandem with government and corporations, dude. That's at least 90% of all jobs in the United States of America, man. Okay, so when you look at corporations and then you look at nonprofits. The interesting thing about corporations, when you compare corporations to nonprofits, corporations don't hide behind a banner of do-goodism. Corporations don't say, we're here to help save the children. They don't have any do-goodism cause at all. So they are corporations are transparent. They're just like, hey, we're here to make money, motherfucker. Come buy our shit. Oh, you don't want to buy our shit? Then fuck off. That's how corporations are run. Nonprofits, on the other hand, they're there to announce, we're not here to make any money at all. We're only here to save the children. That's why we're here. See, I have more respect for corporations than I do nonprofits. And most people don't think the way I do because, first of all, I worked in the nonprofit sector for 10 fucking years, working for these organizations that are claiming, we're here to help save people. We're a nonprofit here to save people. Dude, I know how that shit. I've seen it from the behind the scenes, what it's all really about. Most people don't know what I know, and so they don't care. They don't care that 90 or more percent of all jobs are just government jobs, because corporations run the government. So all government jobs are just corporate jobs, and all corporate jobs are just government jobs. Okay? 90% of all jobs in the United States of America are corporate jobs, government jobs, a combination of these three: corporate jobs, government jobs, and nonprofit jobs. And the elusive nonprofit is what creates this illusion that there's all this option of different employment. No, there is no option, dude. You either work for the government or go be homeless. That is literally the truth of the matter. And what fascinates me more than this is that nobody cares that this is the truth. That's the most fascinating. I bring this up and everybody ignores it. You know why? It's impossible to convince a person of a thing when their paycheck is dependent upon them being ignorant of that thing. So your paycheck is dependent upon you being ignorant of the fact that you work for the government, dude. Every 90%, at least 90% of all United States of America's jobs are government jobs. And your paycheck is dependent upon you being ignorant of the fact that your job is a government job. You work for the government because all jobs in the United States of America are government jobs. That's how bad communism it has become in the United States of It's not the United States of America. Just like that scene in the movie The Matrix when Morpheus is trying to explain to Neo, you think it's the year 1999, when really, like, we're not exactly sure what year it is, but we do know based off of these facts that it is, first of all, it's not 1999, okay? And it's the same, it's like the same, dude, this is 1958 Soviet Union that you live in. 90% of all jobs are government jobs, charaded as jobs of corporations and nonprofit jobs. They all work together. It's all one and the same. It's all government. And it is incumbent upon you to be ignorant of the fact that your job is a government job. You are dependent, like it says. You cannot convince a person of anything. You cannot convince a person of a thing when their paycheck is dependent upon them being ignorant of it. So you are ignorant of the fact that whatever job you work at is a government job. And this is why everybody ignores this. Because if people were to acknowledge the truth, they would go be homeless. They would say, fuck this, I'd rather be homeless than work for this fucking, like, this is disgusting. You'd just go be homeless with all the other homeless bums. And then you'd become a crazy guy like me and just like be talking all this crazy shit and stuff, right? And you don't want to do that. You want to fit in, you don't want to be the black sheep, That's why everybody lies. Nobody wants to be honest because, the truth isn't popular. So anyways, this question, why do I not post videos on BitChute? There are a couple people that possibly even watch this video that know exactly why I do not post videos on BitChute. And I've said this many times. Dude, I was subscribed to tons of channels that were just like mine. And I would just watch their videos. I wouldn't even watch Popular and Trending because there's all kinds of channels like mine. Guess what, dude? They're all gone. All of them. Why do you think they're all gone? Do you think there might be a reason that those channels are all gone? I know why they're all gone, because it's the same reason I don't run a BitChute channel anymore. And I explained it. BitChute is extremely censorious. If you're saying something that BitChute doesn't like, it doesn't matter how true it is, They will send all their armies of fucking of agents and fucking bots to come and rip your fucking channel to shreds and just keep biting and biting and gnawing and sawing and clawing and chewing and spewing and they just every video they're just gnawing and clawing and biting and sawing, like everything. BitChute does everything in its power to censor you if you're a content creator, more so than on YouTube. Like, look, it's 2025. Yes, YouTube was censoring lots of people in 2019 and 2020 and 2021, yes. But for whatever reason, they're not doing that anymore. They're still shadow banning and doing all this algorithm manipulation and stuff. And sure, they will, but they're no worse than BitChute. Do you know why YouTube is no worse when it comes to censorship than BitChute? Because BitChute is in the pockets of YouTube, bro. Hello? Why do you think that 80% of all the popular and trending channels on BitChute are YouTube channels? Hello? 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 Is there anybody in there? Hello? Like, this is all obvious. This is like 5th grade, 6th grade level shit. 7th grade, 8th, 9th grade level. Like, it's, dude, just look at it. You know? And I'm semi-retired. So I have time to look at it. And that's why, so people that don't have time to look at it don't see what I see. Because they have their government jobs where they have to go and work 60 hours a week for the government job, you know, because everybody are just government state workers. They work for the state. That's it. You know? You think you work at Macy's. Well, Macy's is run by the state. It's all communism, dude. Like all this shit. I mean, I know. It's just so, you know, ludicrous that it's unbelievable to consider what I'm saying. It's ludicrous. Well, so are a lot of things, right? Chemtrails, that's pretty ludicrous, isn't it? It's the Jews, that's pretty ludicrous. You know, what? Go down the list of all the ludicrous shit, you know? It's just another ludicrous, add it to the list of ludicrousy, or whatever if that's even a word. Added to the list of ludicrousy. That's the name of this video. Anyways, see you boys.